Hello, everyone, and welcome to Heart Matters. To all of our faithful viewers, we say a big thank you for your support. And we also want to welcome any of you who may be tuning in for the very first time. We have some great guests in store for today, so we'll jump right into the program. In this episode, we'll hear from Sterling Penney, who recently published a book entitled My Father's House. And we'll also hear some music from Lush. So wherever you're watching from today, we hope that the next little while is a bright spot in your day. Enjoy the show.
How quickly we forget the God who lives in every day. How easy to lose sight that you reside in the mundane. How quickly we forget the power that's running through our veins, the kind of power that empties graves. And oh my soul, remember who you're talking to, the only one who death bows to. That's the God who walks with you. And oh my soul, you know that if he did it then, he can do it all again. His power can still raise the dead. Don't tell me that he's finished yet. Lest we not forget the voice that's holding back the waves, was once the voice that told the skies to pour them into place. Let us join the endless song of everlasting praise to the only God who empties graves. And oh my soul, remember who you're talking to, the only one who death bows to. That's the God who walks with you. And oh my soul, you know that if he did it then, he can do it all again. His power can still raise the dead. Don't tell me that it's finished yet. If you broke through the oceans, you can break through these chains. If your word made the mountains, it can move them all the same. If death fell before you and it's still on its face, the power that raised you is about to move again. If you broke through the oceans, you can break through these chains. Your word made the mountains, it can move them all the same. If death fell before you and it's still on its face, the power that raised you is about to move again. It's about to move again. And oh my soul, remember who you're talking to, the only one who death bows to. That's the God who walks with you. And oh my soul, you know that if he did it then, he can do it all again. His power can still raise the dead. Don't tell me that he's finished yet.
Heart Matters will return in just a moment.
Hello, my name is Sterling Penney. I am a former pastor, now retired from pastoral ministry. Pastored over the years on the island of Newfoundland and transferred to the Maritime District of Pentecostal Assemblies of Canada over 40 years ago now. I've been pastoring there in various places. I grew up in a Christian home, actually. The last dying days of Methodism in Newfoundland. But unfortunately, in my late teenage years, I sort of drifted from the faith and found myself in a place where I wasn't sure. I thought maybe this is what my parents believed was okay for them and what the church believed, but I'm not sure about if God was for real or not. That may be surprising, being brought up in the church, but I think a lot of young people go through that and got indulged in some things that actually could have ruined my life. But in my late teens, I faced an health crisis when I was 18 years of age and came face to face with the reality of death. And basically that was the turning point in my life. God spoke to me, and not an audible voice. It was in a church service. I didn't attend church, but I happened to be there that night. I went forward and received Christ that night. That changed my life completely. I began studying immediately after conversion, in intense study of the scriptures. And that has followed me through life. And it was 8 years later, however, that I entered ministry. So here we are, some 60 years later. I didn't plan to write a book, but during the COVID situation in winter of 21, church was closed down due to COVID, and we were restricted in our times spending in church worship in the building. My wife and I found ourselves involved in worship at home, probably 3 times as much as we did before. And during that time of prayer and meditation, seeking God, I felt the Lord opening His Word to me in regards to things to come, eschatology, and with it came a desire to write. And I ended up with some 200 pages, 21 chapters, and finally became what it is today, the book My Father's House. Jesus' final meeting with his disciples before he went to the cross. And that evening he told them not to be troubled. He was going away. And he went on to say, in my Father's house, there is lots of room, and I'm going there to prepare a place for you. In any language, of course, house is a dwelling place. Those of us that were raised on the King James Version, it was many mansions translated. But basically what Jesus was saying, in the dwelling place of God, there is lots of room. And he was going there to prepare a special place for the church. And then, which may amaze some people, it says that the nations of the world bring their glory to the holy city. So that's what my Father's house is about, the big picture. During my ministry, I did many funerals, and most people, their idea of heaven is a place up there with robes and crowns. Whether I believe I'm going to have a harp and a crown, or it's going to be something else, is not going to prevent me from making heaven, So we don't want to make it something that creates division. But yes, the idea that most people have of heaven as sitting down by the river of life and spending your time there, in the streets of gold. That all may take place in that special holy city that I believe the Scripture tells us is the home of the church, the holy city. But then God is creating a whole new heaven and earth where there'll be no more death and no more dying and no more sickness and no more pain. You see, heaven is a present reality. It is a present realm outside of the order that we live in, where physical laws does not exist, time and space does not exist. The Bible tells us that God created the visible world, that which is invisible. So if God created a visible world from the invisible, there must be an invisible world, an invisible realm. That is the heaven. And Jesus clearly said in his teaching to the religious leaders of his day, in John chapter 6, 7, and 8, he repeatedly told them, I came from that realm and I'm returning there. Jesus was the one human being that walked this earth, who was the embodiment of the answer to the question that has been asked through the ages. Where did I come from? Why am I here? And where am I going? Jesus said, I know why I came here. My Father sent me. I know what I came for. I'm going to give my life for the world. And I know where I'm going. I came from above and I'm going back there. So that realm is presently existing where Jesus came from. He returned to that heavenly realm. The older I get, the more I know of God's word and of my relationship with God, the more I realize the amazing grace of God. And listen, we make a big mistake when we major on our differences. The message is God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whoever believes in him shall not perish forever, but have eternal life. That's the message. That's what the church must focus on. God's amazing grace is so inclusive that whosoever shall call upon him shall be saved. The moment you close your eyes in death, you're going to be faced with a stark reality. You have an eternal spirit that will live forever. But because of the sin problem, which is our choice. God has left with us an incredible witness that He is the eternal God and the God of creation, but He is also a redeeming God, and that's what the Bible is about, God's redeeming love. The Bible is a book of redemption. We have the choice to believe or not to believe, but whoever believes, whenever they believe and receive Christ, heaven is open for them. That's what Christ did on the cross. I am convinced that God is revealing this truth as time is winding down and we are getting closer to the end of this world order that we now know. God is an infinite God, and being an infinite God, then His dwelling place is an infinity, and it's unfolding. It's not a fixed place somewhere. So it's really is an amazing place, this place called heaven.
Heart Matters is all about people, especially you, our viewers. That's why we love hearing from you. Maybe you have a suggestion for an upcoming show. Perhaps you know of someone who has a story to tell or a song to sing that could be a blessing to all of us. We also love getting feedback from you guys. Simply send us a message letting us know how something you've seen on this show has impacted you. And as always, if you follow us on social media, you can keep up to date on upcoming episodes and events. Still to come on today's show, The Bottom Line with Mike Freake, and more music from Robin Lush when Heart Matters returns.
About 13 years ago, we bought our very first house, and we were so excited to finally have our own place to call our own and that we could make our own. Now, it needed a little bit of work and definitely some fresh paint. So we told our son, who was 6 at the time, that he could decide to paint his room whatever color he'd like. And of course, he picked the hardest color to paint, bright red. Well, we kept our word and painted the room the brightest red that you could find. So after a couple of coats, it looked pretty good, and he was pretty excited about it. He even helped. Well, the next day, I went to the house and walked into his room, and to my horror, the paint was starting to bubble. And not just little bubbles, but literally the entire wall was one big giant bubble. I started to pull it off, and what a mess. I can describe it to you, but it's better to show you. Here's the room as it was that day. Look at that. It was a mess. The room was ruined. Now, I'm normally a pretty handy guy, and I do most of the work and renovations around the house myself, so this looked like an easy project. The room was perfect before I started and completely ruined it. It took days to repair the damage that I had done. So I painted and scraped, plastered the entire room, and sanded it for hours. But eventually, I fixed it. And needless to say, I've never used red paint since. In the very first book of the Bible, it shows how God created everything. And the Bible says that it was good. It was perfect. It was paradise. I mean, imagine living at that time where you didn't have to worry about anything. You'd never get sick. You'd never get cancer. You'd never grow old. You never have to worry about the weather. I mean, everything was absolutely perfect. But then the Bible tells us how the devil ruined all of that by tempting Adam and Eve to sin. And from that moment on, everything in the world changed. Sin entered into the world, and everything that was good was ruined. And we've had to live with the consequences of that ever since. But that's exactly what the devil does. He exists only to ruin and distort what God has created so good. And the Bible says that his only purpose is to steal, kill, and destroy. In other words, he wants to distort, destroy, and ruin God's plan for your life. And that's his only goal. Is that room that I described earlier an accurate picture of your life today? You might feel like your life is completely ruined. And you might be thinking that your life is just, too much of a mess for God to ever change it. The Bible says that Jesus came to give us life, and that promise is for you today. It's not some, distant idea that could possibly happen sometime way into the future. No, Jesus wants to give life today. Because the bottom line is this: although the devil takes what is good and ruins it, Jesus can always take what is ruined and make it good. And in spite of how messy and ruined you think that your life is today, if given the chance, Jesus can take your mess and make something amazing.
I'm gonna sing till my heart starts changing. I'm gonna worship till I mean every word. 'Cause the way that I feel and the fear I'm facing doesn't change who you are or what you deserve. I give you my worship, you still deserve it. You're worthy, you're worthy, you're worthy of my song. I'll pour out your praises in blessing and breaking. You're worthy, you're worthy, you're worthy of my song. I'm gonna live like my King is risen. Gonna preach to my soul that you've already won. And even though I can't see it, I'm gonna keep believing that every promise you make is as good as done. I give you my worship, you still deserve it. You're worthy, you're worthy, you're worthy of my song. I'll pour out your praises in blessing and breaking. You're worthy, you're worthy. Jesus, you're worthy of my song. You're worthy, you're worthy. Jesus, you're worthy of my song. You're worthy, you're worthy. When I sat by that hospital bed, you were worthy, and she could barely lift her head. You were worthy. After all those tears were shed, you were worthy. I'll never stop singing your praise. I'll never stop singing your praise. And in the blessing and the pain, you are worthy. say yes or no or wait. You are worthy. Through it all, I choose to say, you are worthy. I'll never stop singing your praise. I'll never stop singing your praise.
We want to thank Robin for those beautiful songs today. Jesus is indeed worthy of our song. In fact, he is worthy of all the praise that we can possibly give to him. We also want to thank Sterling Penney for reminding us of the promise of heaven. And we pray, just like Jesus taught us to, for his kingdom to come and his will be done, right now on earth as it is in heaven. We hope that today's show has been a blessing to you and that you'll join us back here again next week for another episode of Heart Matters.